I will discuss some of practical slides in the brain anatomy. This is the first slide showing you a transverse section through the brain tissue. The outside here, this is called gray matter, which is formed by the nerve cells. We call them neuron. While here, we call them white matter. The white matter are the fibers. The right and the left hemispheres of the brain, they are connected by these white matters. We call them corpus callosum. Inside, if you can see this and that, these are cavities found inside the brain. We call them ventricles. They are filled with CSF, I mean cerebrospinal fluid. I want to show you a picture of the cerebrum, which is the biggest part. This cerebrum is divided by this structure. We call it here longitudinal fissure. The cerebrum here is divided into two cerebral hemispheres by median or longitudinal fissure. The only connection, which is the white matter, I told you in the previous slide, this is the gray matter, this is the white matter. The white matter are fibers. They are connecting between the two hemispheres. This bundle of white matter, we call them corpus callosum. And of course, each hemisphere, there is a cavity inside. We call it the ventricle. Now, I want to show you one hemisphere with surfaces. Medially, we call it medial surface. And here laterally, we call superolateral surface. And of course, the inferior surface of the hemisphere. Each hemisphere has 3 surfaces and 4 borders and of course lobes. The lateral surface or the exterior surface of the brain is formed by folds. We call them gyri, and one of them is gyrus. If they are many, we call them gyri. And in between, there are sulci. The one of them we call it sulcus, but many of them we are calling sulci. And this is the central sulcus. In front of it, we call it a pre-central gyrus. Of course, the one which is posterior, we call it post-central gyrus. And you can see laterally, we call it a lateral fissure here. And of course, superior temporal gyrus, middle temporal gyrus, and of course here must be the inferior, and so on. This is another picture, just to remind you how the gyri divided the surface of the brain. Another picture, just with colors, show you the central sulcus and the precentral gyrus, which is yellow in color. This is motor area, while the red area is the postcentral gyrus. Now, if you look, I'm going to show you, this is the medial surface of the hemisphere. This is, we call it the corpus callosum, which is bundle of fibers connecting between the right and the left sides of the brain. Here, we call it callosal sulcus. Can you see this red color line? This is callosal sulcus, just above the corpus